And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Gadget Inspector, where we keep a close eye on recent developments in the wonderful world of technology, and we speak to the great innovators of the day. And it's my enormous pleasure this evening to have on the show via telephone, because of course none of us can travel, Mr. Wilbur Plum, inventor of the Pocket Barbecue. Wilbur, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Would you tell us a little something about the pocket barbecue? I have to say, it sounds absolutely intriguing. A pocket barbecue, who would have thought?
Well, Australia barbie is really more than a tradition. It's more really a way of life. And we kind of thought if we could introduce the barbie into other cultures, then, we'd be spreading happiness and joy around the world. Trouble with the culture like yours is there's an awful weather, rains a lot. So you might want to do an indoor sort of a pop-up. You could call it a pop-up barbecue. Pocket, I call it pop. It literally fits in the specially designed pocket we've designed specially.
So it is literally a barbecue that you have in your pocket. It's just extraordinary. I mean, and it strikes me that, of course, the possibilities are endless.
If you could whip a barbie out, whatever you are, you're the life and soul of the party, I can tell you.
So tell me, Wilbur, where have you had barbecues?
On a train.
On a train?
Yep. In a waiting room. In a hospital waiting room. I'm not recommending that. Don't do that. In corridors, you can do it in a corridor if you happen to be in a corridor.
Forgive me for saying this. It sounds as if it could be incredibly dangerous.
Oh, no. You're getting hold of the wrong end of the stick. That's what people think immediately when they think about a pocket bar. You said the word barbecue.
Yes.
That's a great thing. It's a really good. You put the word pocket in front of it, people might freak out. But I've got to explain, it comes with its own specially insulated trousers. You're not going to put it in your normal. Well, it wouldn't fit for a start. It's a huge pocket on the insulated trousers. They're not going to catch fire.
So you have to wear special trousers.
Yeah.
And
they come with the barbecue. There's no hoax. There's no second guessing here. The barbecue kit includes the trousers.
Presumably you get what? You get a grill?
Not brick. It's kind of it's a different thing, very like brick.
And charcoal and light. So what do you do? Tell me.
They're all separate. They're all separately sealed off. They're not going to cross-contaminate.
So I'm just trying to understand here. So you shovel charcoal into your trouser pocket and
no. We do the shoveling the charcoal in the factory. They come in a pre-sealed bag, which is recyclable. And that fits in the other pocket. You got two pockets, you see. Maybe we should retrace a little here. You've got your barbecue in one of your inflammable proof pockets for your special trousers. And on the other pocket of your special trousers, you've got basically your ingredient. You can usually put your food in there. It's all specially self-contained. You can put your sausages in with your charcoal. Not exactly charcoal, but something very similar.
But presumably you have to set fire to this charcoal whilst it's in your trousers?
Oh, no. You assemble the barbecue in whatever space you can find. As I say, it doesn't have to be outdoors. It doesn't have to be particularly big space.
So you don't cook it in your trousers?
Oh, no. You take the assemblage from one pocket. Obviously, you're going to ask permission first. You're not just going to whip it out. I did this on a train, and I said, "Does anybody fancy a barbie?" And people laughed.
And did they?
Yes, I do. Well, everybody did, because it was in the middle of November. I was in Leeds, I think it was. And
in the UK.
Yes, I do a lot of travelling, and especially in the UK. I love the UK. This is why I'm trying to open a market. And the reaction, the smiles on those people's faces when I whipped out my pocket Barbie. There was a table, obviously, between us, and the four of us were able to enjoy a good old Australian-style Barbie in the north of England. So, and a train table.
What did you have to eat on this train?
Well, of course, I didn't know there was going to be call for a barbecue. I said it as a joke. I was going to present the barbecue at the Leeds Gadget Festival. You know, I wasn't prepared. So you got some ham sandwiches from the buffet, I think you call it. We took the ham out and we just grilled the ham.
You grilled the ham?
Oh, it was delicious.
My experience of barbecues is that steaks, burgers, a skewer of vegetables, chicken breast, yes, but ham. I've never heard of anybody barbecuing ham before, because of course ham is already.
I wasn't prepared. I said for a joke, I said, would anybody want a barbie? Because I told them I was Australian, because, well, they could see. I played along with the little stereotype joke. I said, you fancy a barbie? You really do? And they're going, yeah, yep, we do. And I want to speak like. And well, the trouble is, I got nothing to put on the barbie. I got the fuel, but I looked if maybe somebody got a little pooch there. I could, because I'm not for the dog, but the dog food maybe got a T-bone steak or something, but it didn't. There wasn't a dog. And I gave up after a few carriages. I said, I was in the buffet at that time. I thought, I'll just get a few ham sandwiches.
No, sorry, if I can just get this straight. You wandered through a few carriages trying to establish whether anybody had anything on them that you might be able to barbecue.
That's right, or their pets. As if they might have brought some.
Did anybody have anything that you could barbecue?
Well, you know, they said they didn't. I'd already seen a couple of things. Maybe I thought could have been barbecued, but they were like pushing them away as if I couldn't see them. At that point, I thought, well, I might as well. They didn't have any sausages till I asked. So I took the ham back, took the sandwiches back. I didn't throw the sandwiches away in front of them. That would have been rude. All I'm saying is, from that experience, that gave me a lot of heart to continue with the Pop-Up Barbecue idea, because, you know, they loved it. They absolutely adored it, the grilled ham.
Yes, I'm sure they did. Now I'm going to switch tack slightly. How difficult was it to bring this idea to market?
Well, not at all. I'm an Australian. And in Australia, we've got and in some ways, they're kind of lax. In another case, they're kind of rigid. But mine sort of skips through the middle like a frog skipping across a pond on a series of strategically placed stones. And I got it within 6 months.
So they oscillate between the lax and the rigid.
Yes. And if you know your pathway through, like an old Indian scout like I do, you'll soon bend the rules, find a legal way through the rules to market your product in all states.
Is that to suggest that there was something which was legally problematic at some point?
Well, there always is. You ask any businessman. If I invented a cure for cancer tomorrow, there'd be something wrong with it. You know what I mean?
So what was wrong with the barbecue idea originally?
Well, you know, you kind of instinctively went there, really. They weren't happy with the safety aspect of my invention.
What in particular?
Flammable materials in enclosed spaces. There was some clause about that, but I got lawyers.
Okay. Now, I mean, I did read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is, that somebody was very badly injured in the early stages of testing this barbecue. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of a man whose name is Donald Trump, but he has a little phrase he says again and again and again and again and again, which is fake news. Fake news. I mean, it depends. You know, you can read a headline. You have to see your way past the third-degree burns to get to the heart of the story.
Third-degree burns?
Over a small part of the body, yes. And there's instructions. I insisted on this. I said to my marketing team, we've got to have instructions to cover our backs.
Not to show the consumer how to use it.
To show the consumer, principally, to show the consumer how to use it, and also for legal reasons I've mentioned.
But, you know, obviously, I'm very happy for you to promote your product. I'm interested in the backstory. Tell me who sustained those.
Arthur Penridge, age 30. Arthur Penridge, Penridge, age 33, from, Saratoga, if I'm not mistaken.
And what happened to him? I mean, is he the reason that you don't
He's
actually have the pocket barbecue in
There's
the pocket?
nothing wrong with Mr. Penridge. There is nothing wrong with him. He's completely recovered. We can lead I would call a normal life, a perfectly normal life, if you're not a violinist.
And were you obliged to compensate him for his injuries?
Yes, I was.
Would you like to tell us how and to what extent?
The gadget operates, as I was saying, in like, the little metal things that connect with gadgets. Once you've got the legs on the table, frame arranged, then you can put out the tray. Now, the tray is in one piece, so that's the bulkiest part of your equipment. That obviously is made of an inflammable material. What am I? Some kind of credit. Bang, it goes. You'll see it's a little hollowed out. You've got to take the little tin foil bit off. Now, your other pocket, you've got the materials. You're scooping in. What with? Well, with the scooper. The scooper you'll find at the bottom of your the pocket that you've now emptied, except for the scooper. You scoop it out. You scoop your charcoal substitute in. There you go. Then you'll have a bag. Now, I didn't have a bag in Leeds. You'd normally have your bag full of your sausages and your T-bones, and you'll whop it on. There's a small amount of gasoline that's exactly just like a milliliter under what you're allowed to take on a train, for example, or on I'm not going into aeroplanes. And then, whoa, away you go. Something to light it.
So in the event of something going wrong here, what would somebody do? A fire blazing out of control.
Yeah, they'd have to follow the instructions.
And just for argument's sake, what might they find in the instructions that might help them in such a situation?
It's not for example. I wrote the instructions. I could tell you exactly what it says in the instructions. It says, in case of fire, put out fire.
Well, that's very helpful.
Well, it's no more nor less helpful than those extinguishers that says, in case of fire, break this, press this button.
But that does give you access to something which will help you put the fire out, which...
How many corridors or trains or waiting rooms do you know that do not have a handy fire extinguisher?
I don't know.
Well, I've been into this. They've almost all got one. And if not in it, at least near it. At least 20 seconds running away.
So it would make sense for anybody contemplating a pocket barbecue to have the barbecue somewhere near a fire extinguisher. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not only that, but once you've divested your trouser pockets of the barbecue and the fuel, you can take the trousers off, and you could use that as a kind of screen. If you've got anything to like hold it up with, you could put it like a little screen around it.
Let me get this straight. You're in a crowded train carriage with your trousers off, and you're holding them around a barbecue that you're having on the table. Is that, have I got this right?
They absolutely loved it, Mr. Presenter.
You can't have a barbecue without some mayonnaise and some salad dressing and some tomato ketchup, can you? How do you carry all of that around with you? Or do you? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, I have thought about this. Yeah, you could, the buffet, for example, I could have, when I purchased the ham, I could also at the same time have purchased tomato ketchup. That's usually tomato ketchup is usually near these places in the same way as a fire extinguisher usually is. We don't provide...
Let's narrow down the potential venues. So you need to be both near a fire extinguisher before you have a barbecue, but also ketchup.
I would also recommend being near a fire extinguisher if you have a barbecue. It's not a pocket barbecue feature.
I mean, people do usually have barbecues outside, don't they? Which does something to ameliorate the risk. I think there's something about the enclosed space, isn't there, that clearly was drawn to your attention by the authorities.
There is a legal question about ceiling height, yes.
And yes, any news there?
Yeah, I think what is the train that goes to Leeds these days? Is it Arriva? Is it one of those? I can't remember.
Oh,
Yeah, one of those would just squeak in.
oh, okay. So
In your head, you're imagining like a great big inferno of a barbecue with like lots of meat on it, and things like that. No, it's just a little pocket barbecue for you and your friends to eat a bit of roast ham. You know, when you're not going to plan a day out around it. You know.
is it important to be able to have a beer whilst you're having a barbecue?
Well, you know, we're going around in circles now, aren't we? I usually think if there's ketchup, there's beer somewhere.
And you don't carry that around with you?
Obviously, I got my normal trousers on under my specially inflammable trousers. Well, I put my normal things in those pockets, you know. And my normal trousers, I got my tinnies. Put my old special trousers on, and they're quite ample, I can tell you, and inflammable. And they got very, very capacious pockets. And there I get on the train, and there I am, and people going, you know, I fancy a Barbie.
One more question I need to ask you here. So you've met your new friends on the train
We're still
to Leeds. You've got your ham, you've got your ketchup, you've got your beer, you've taken your trousers off, you've enjoyed some grilled ham with your new friends. Each had a couple of tinnies, bit of a sing-song, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
Do you just leave your pocket barbecue because it's going to be very hot, isn't it? But you can't just leave it there. What do you do?
Well, you wait for it to cool down, and then you pack it up.
Oh, and back in the trousers?
Oh yeah. The inflammable trousers, and back on with the trousers, and Bob's your uncle. Oh, Darlington already. Missed my stop. The barbecue was so good, Luke.
Well, it's been a delight having you on the show, and I wish you all the luck in the world with this new venture. And I can assure you that as soon as it becomes available over here, that my train journeys will never be the same again.
Well,
and
you know,
I doubt anybody else's will either.
If you run into an Australian guy with baggy trousers and an old trilby on, it's probably me.
Wilbur Plum, thank you.
Been a pleasure. Well, sort of.